Hey guys, welcome back to another tech show video. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at the cleverly named LG Muziq. Now before we begin with the video, I want to tell you a quick story to prove to you guys how much work I really put into this channel. I bought this LG Muziq from eBay for a really good price, but the listing was really vague. It said something like phone works, and that was it. I didn't think to contact the seller to ask about what condition the phone was in. So the phone arrives, I plug it in and turn it on, and what do you know, it's got a password. Now it only takes a 4-pin password, so I of course tried all the common easy to guess pins like 4 zeros, 1 through 4 and stuff like that. But of course whoever owned this phone before me was too smart to have an easy to guess password, so I was left with 3 options. 1. Send the phone back. 2. Hack the phone by using some kind of reset technique. And 3. Use brute force to guess the password. Of course returning the phone was kind of out of the question, and I tried to find some way to bypass the password using some kind of reset or something, but that didn't work, so my last and only option was guessing the password, which is what I did. Since it's only 4 digits, there can only be 9,999 possible combinations, and since this phone doesn't limit your attempts at guessing the password, you can knock yourself out trying as many as you wish. So my strategy was to logically start at 0000, proceed to 0001, 0002, and I don't know, you get the idea. Eventually, after several days of working on this on and off, I finally guessed the pin, which took about 6,000 tries. But anyway, now that I've shown off my impressive hacking skills, let's get back to the video. This device was released March of 2007, and from what I can tell was launched pretty much exclusively on Sprint for a price of $99 US, with a 2-year service agreement with Sprint. The LG Muziq came 2 years after the popular LG Fuziq, and kept much of the same features alive, only the Muziq looks much more sleek and modern. I love to pick up a Fuziq phone to review, but unfortunately they're not super easy to find, but if I do get one and end up reviewing the device, I will come back and link it here. From the outside, this phone looks pretty much like a typical flip phone from the time, and for the most part it is, but it does have some slightly unique features that can't be found on any other devices. This circle with red glowing touch buttons is used to launch the Sprint music player when no music is playing, and also has controls for fast forwarding, rewinding, pausing, and playing the current songs. One thing that was slightly frustrating about these buttons is that unless music is playing, you can't use them to wake the screen, something I would naturally do to check the time or incoming notifications. Instead, you have to press and hold the camera key on the side of the phone, which takes a good 5 seconds to unlock and get past the redundant message telling you to press and hold the camera key to unlock the phone even when you're already doing so. This can often cause a lot of confusion because maybe the phone hasn't registered your press, and so you release the button and press it again. It's just a clumsy way to unlock the front buttons. I'm sure there would have been a better way to do this without wasting so much time. It's really easier to just flip open the phone and press the right navigation button, which is set to launch the Sprint Music Store by default. The Sprint Music Store is the main app for buying and playing music. Of course, you can no longer use it as a music store since it has long been discontinued, but you can still play music stored on microSD card, which is a super handy feature. And speaking of handy features, this phone has a built-in radio transmitter to transmit your music over a set FM frequency, in case you're in a car that doesn't have Bluetooth audio. But what you don't get is a 3.5mm headphone jack, which would have been arguably more useful than an FM radio transmitter, but not cooler. This is definitely one of the more fun features this phone boasts. And speaking of fun, the LG Muziq has one of the best music composing apps I've ever seen built into a phone. This isn't your typical Nokia monophonic ringtone composer. With the Music Composer, you can make polyphonic MIDI music in 31 different styles, 16 different instruments, and 4 different preset rhythms per style. Or you can just make your own rhythm. The possibilities here are almost endless. There are 3 different modes for making music. There is score mode for those who know about actual music composing. Then there is keyboard mode, which is a more traditional composing mode. You just start pressing the keys on your phone that correspond with the keyboard on the screen. But then there is humming mode, which is probably the most unique mode. In humming mode, you can hum a song, as the name suggests, and it will turn it into a song with the tune you're humming, complete with backing track and rhythm. Of course, with limited processing power and a low quality microphone, it's not perfect and sometimes it's hard to tell what you're even trying to create. But even then, if you want to fix up your song, you can still edit the notes even if you created it in humming mode. This is absolutely one of the coolest built-in apps I've ever seen, and I kind of feel like it should have been built into a lot of future LG phones. As far as I know, this was the only phone that included the music composer, but that's about it as far as special features go. Overall, this is a disappointingly average phone even for 2007. On the other hand though, this phone only cost $99 back in 2007, which would have been around $130 US in 2022. Compare that to the first iPhone, which cost around $500 US, which converts to about $700 US in 2022. So sure, the LG Muziq is just a flip phone, but it's a darn good one when you consider the price. Yeah, it's kind of flimsy, and the 1 megapixel camera sucks, but you get a micro SD card slot, the ability to broadcast your music over FM, and the best music composer ever built into a phone. And those are just the benefits that I can still take advantage of today. You have to remember back in 2007, this phone would have been very desirable for some of the stuff Sprint offered with it, especially the Sprint Music Store, where you could buy music for just 99 cents per song right on your phone, so there's no need to connect to a computer to transfer MP3s. There was also Sprint TV, Sprint Radio, and Sprint Mobile Instant Messaging, which let you chat with your instant messaging service of choice from your mobile phone. So if you're rich enough to afford the rather large phone bill every month because you didn't get Wi-Fi in this phone, there was quite a bit this little flip phone offered, including web browsing through the built-in PowerVision service, or some people mentioned you could install Opera Mini on this phone, which could have probably been an okay experience. Unfortunately, you can no longer register this device with Sprint anymore, and even if you could, pretty much all of the services have been discontinued, so unfortunately I can't test out the internet capabilities. But what I can test out is this 1.3 megapixel camera. And yeah, it's pretty much what you'd expect from a flip phone from 2007. There are some photo adjustment settings like brightness and white balance, and you also get some basic filters like black and white, negative, and sepia, but other than that, it's just a pretty basic flip phone camera with fixed focus and washed out photos. There is this photo flash, which would be a cool feature if it weren't so dim. It makes little to no difference whether it's on or off unless you are super close to the subject. If you're more than 5 inches away, you can forget lighting anything up with this flash. Thankfully, this phone does make good use of the display on the back of the device. If you want to take a selfie, just open the camera app and close the phone, and you'll be able to see the live camera feed on the tiny front display. You can use the front play and pause touch button as the shutter button, which is pretty handy. And since we're already looking the back of the phone, let's turn our attention to the speaker. And yes, the speaker is on the back side of the flip, right here under the touch controls. Some people didn't like the placement of the speaker, but I honestly think it's a better decision than on the inside, and way better decision than putting it on the back of the phone. I would imagine most people would be using this phone as an MP3 player a lot, and you probably would just have it sitting on your desk or wherever you are in the closed position, since you could play music using the outside display and controls. But what does this speaker sound like? It better be darn good for a music phone, right? Well, it's pretty much loud enough, but the audio quality is kind of sharp and tinny, so you're better off listening through a Bluetooth speaker or with the radio through this phone's FM transmitter, and you should be fine. But anyway, it's been fun playing with this phone for a while. Unfortunately, one thing that I didn't like about this phone is that there is no way to sideload apps and games on this thing. It does come with some mostly no longer working demo games, but those aren't really interesting at all. To sum up this phone, it feels kind of cheap, but it was pretty cheap. And it's got that awesome music composer that you probably won't find on any other cell phone. But if you do know of any other cell phones that had this app or a similar app, please let me know in the comments because I would be really interested in seeing those. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy this video, it'd be awesome if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.